Hello everybody, it's Stewart Swerdlow.
And Janet Swerdlow.
And this is the Expansions Nude Pod. I can't. Let's cut it
No,
out.
that's a good one. Leave it in there.
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
Well, actually with some of the stories.
Okay, take two.
Yeah, take two.
Okay, you can leave it in there, but we'll go
it's
to
the Expansions News podcast for the last week in October 2013.
Okay.
You could be nude if you wanted to.
You could be nude.
All right.
Actually, that's the latest color. We could dress in beige and say we're nude.
No, I think we should just be nude.
No, we're
I
not
think it
going
would
to
attract
do
a
that.
lot more membership.
Well, I don't know.
Yes, on the new membership for
On the
the
new-
height, the
on
gold,
on the
the gold
nude
membership,
membership.
you will see us nude, especially Janet. So that's an,
Brown X that
that's
out.
an incentive.
Brown X.
You don't have to tell them that. Just let's just say you'll do it.
Okay.
She'll do it. Anyway, back to the.
To the
Actually, I was
nudes?
going to say back to Earth, but it's really not about Earth.
Back to the nudes.
Because the first issue I want to talk to you about is Comet ISON, or ISON, or whatever, ISON. And that's been in the internet a lot. It's been on radio shows a lot. A lot of people, Chicken Little, the sky is falling, it's going to be the end of the world. It's nothing, people. It's just a freaking comet, okay? It's going to fizzle out. Maybe it'll glow for a little bit in November or December, maybe not, but it's absolutely nothing.
Do you think it has to do anything with the second coming of Christ? Because it does have S-O-N, so the I and then like son of somebody. As kind of a precursor or a ritual thing or an imprinting.
And of course there's that poem from the Middle Ages, I think it was Nostradamus or somebody like that, when the Jews returned to Zion and a comet flares the sky.
So that's what I'm thinking.
But there's been a lot of comets since then, so no. It's just going to be a big nothing, okay? However,
Yes.
historically, because we were talking about that before I made my little flub on the intro. The last time a big comet was in the sky that was bright like this, within I think a few weeks there was the New Madrid earthquake in 1811 and 1812. So it could very well be that the comets are a warning for what's going to happen on the Earth.
Well, they could artificially be put there to help trigger something that they want to have happen.
Yeah, I personally think it's just one of those objects that have been hurled from the Kuiper Belt again, to say, hello, we're still here and we're coming. So I think that's really what it's about.
By the way, what did you think of our Kuiper Belt conference?
Everyone loved it.
Did
I
they?
thought it was very good.
It was fabulous because that's going to be on our gold members
yes,
eventually.
And if the people in Australia are nice to me, I will tell them a little bit about that.
Cool.
Secret stuff.
Secret stuff.
Anyway, going also back towards that part of the world, we know that a couple of days ago there was a 7.3 earthquake in Japan, not far from the Fukushima disaster. Of course, there was no tsunami, and as far as we know, there was no added damage or radiation leaks, but it's leaking anyway. I had some information. I can't say from who unless I get permission, but that the very first disaster was the 9-point-something earthquake that caused the Fukushima to leak. Apparently, it was mitigated by some group, not from this world, who said that it could have been a lot worse. And it was done purposely. It was not an accident. The quake and the radiation was on purpose. So anyway, it's comforting to know that perhaps there really are some out there looking after us, but maybe they have their own agenda anyway.
That's what I was going to say. I really believe it's more to keep them safe than us safe because...
Yeah. I just have a couple of other things. Most of it is about triggers. Because in the last few days, here at the end of October, there have been a couple of stories in the news about young people killing teachers. One is a 14-year-old in Massachusetts who allegedly followed his teacher into a bathroom and killed her with a box cutter. Horrible. And shortly, I think after that, there was a 12-year-old in Nevada who shot his teacher on the outside the school and wounded a couple of other students and then shot himself. So what's going on with these young people killing others and committing suicide, especially it's mostly teachers? It's obviously some kind of a trigger, some kind of vigilante programming that's been being tested or maybe overloaded, and these students are killing the people that they weren't actually targeting to kill, but they've gone berserk. And in addition to that, in the last couple of weeks, I've seen one story after another about families being found dead. Just this morning, there was a story of a family in Brooklyn, New York. I think it was in Brooklyn, with 4 dead children, and a father and a mother. I mean, they were all stabbed to death. And a couple of days before that, there was another family that was shot to death, 5 children. And before that, there was another family that was burned to death. So something is going on with these ritualistic murders, killing children and whole families being sacrificed.
Well, the other thing I want to bring up too is, like, all over the internet, they're talking about a lot of the wolf killings that are taking place throughout the United States. And we want to remember that wolf frequency has to do with family. So as they kill off the wolves, it has to do with killing off the family, because and that kind of is a lead into my story, but I'll talk about that when it's my turn. But
well, it's coming up your turn.
Yeah, but it has to do, again, with that isolation programming and not having you feel like you're connected to anybody.
And the last thing I want to talk about, which I talk about every year, and that's what's the end of this month, is Halloween. I really don't like that. I don't even want to call it a holiday. It's not a holiday.
No.
It's really only celebrated in North America, because most of the rest of the world, they don't really pay too much attention to it. They're starting to pick up on the American stuff, but most people don't pay attention, which is good. Why? Because it's a celebration of a lower astral death, costumes, or dressing up in ritualistic costumes, blood ritual.
And dressing up as altars.
Promoting sugar, which is a neurotoxin that destroys the body. And of course, what do? Trick or treat, demanding tribute to the demons. That's really what it's all about. And so I don't encourage anybody to celebrate that, to participate in that. It's not a good thing at all. It should be, I think, banned, my opinion.
Well, it won't be, because as we've talked
about...
about...
It will be a party pooper, but it's not a good thing to celebrate.
It's not funny. You know, in fact, there was a thing that somebody said, oh, this is the funniest thing you've ever seen. It was a 5-minute video. I think Ellen DeGeneres had it on. She sent one of her people through some haunted house, and it was about zombies attacking and the woman screaming. It was 5 minutes. I watched the first 2 minutes thinking this has got to change, and it didn't, so I turned it off. But the zombie thing, of course, is huge right now, and so they're promoting that for the Halloween. And the other thing I noticed is the pictures they're showing you on the internet of blood and guts is becoming extremely more bloody and gory.
Yes.
Continually. You know, they didn't used to. They might talk about things and allude to it or show things from a distance. But it's continually being more bloody, more gory. They're getting people desensitized to that. Whether it's animals that have been hurt and maimed, or whether it's been tragedies, you know, where they're showing people blown apart, you know, their heads cut off, and all kinds of horrible things. So that is continually bringing you down into that animal level, bloodlust. You know, we talk a lot, on, or at least on my blogs, you know, on the member side, we are talking a lot about the animal mind and how that is being reeled in by the global handlers. And this is another way, because blood does pull up that animal mind instinct in people for killing, for food, for all kinds of things. So
we see a lot of artists using their own blood to paint their work.
Well, we talked about Pope Francis, not Pope, what was the one I can never remember, John Paul, that they had the blood, you know, that people were kissing in it and praying to it, and you know, it's like, why did they save his blood to start with?
You know, I will sell you my blood that you can kiss and pray, and it's also incorruptible. It'll never solidify. It'll be liquid all the time, mostly because of the vodka in it.
It's disgusting.
It's preserved. It'll always be preserved.
Yeah. But anyway, and the other thing, besides that, they're also saying that people will be zombies because of all kinds of diseases and things like that.
I've been feeling like a zombie for a couple of weeks now. I don't know about everybody else. I was like, I'm walking around, ooh, what the hell, where am I? You know, I think I want to eat you. Yeah. Go on.
Maybe it's a good thing you're going to Australia.
Yeah, maybe it's a good thing, because I'll be upside down. I'll get more blood in my brain.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it'll get things working a little better up there.
Go ahead.
Okay, so now with that in mind, I want to tell you, they are now telling you about the artificial womb. Now, you and I have been talking about artificial womb for a long time because, again, isolation of the family, making it so that people are not connected to each other. Well, Yoshinori Kuwabara.
Hey, you watch your language.
I knew you were going to say that.
No,
Well, I
you
thought
didn't.
about you and the Fuku whatever it was.
Hey.
So the Fuku whatever it was, isn't it?
know-
Fukushima.
Okay.
That somebody.
Why don't you say that nude?
Somebody said
Why
that
don't you say
on
that
your
nude?
Facebook page today. I had to send them off with that little
Yeah,
whatever.
I bet you did.
I bet I
Did you
did.
expose yourself when you did it?
No, I put up your picture nude.
Oh, that's okay.
Anyway, he's the chairman of Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Tendo University in Tokyo. And he has actually been working on artificial placentas for a decade. Now, his claim is that he wants to do this for premature infants. So if they're born too early, that they can be put into this artificial environment to keep them alive until they can reach their natural gestation period. So that's what they're saying. However, they're also talking about keeping goat fetuses in this environment for as long as 3 weeks.
Why?
Because they want to make sure that it works for humans.
Oh, they're testing it.
They're testing it, but they're starting off with cells, and they brought up the fact that, not too long ago, actually 18 years ago, that in vitro fertilization was seemed to be far off. But now it's like an everyday procedure, and they're saying this is the same thing will happen with these artificial wombs, which eventually then they will create life outside the womb, and the mother who's working or busy, they can choose whatever genetics they want, they'll put it in the artificial womb, and voila, you go back and you have a child.
You know what I just thought of?
What?
If they make them big enough, we can have adults crawling back into the womb and going through a rebirthing ceremony.
Well, that probably somebody will think of that
I'd like
as
to
well.
crawl into my womb, only instead of filled with amniotic fluid, guess what it's filled with?
Vodka.
Yeah, or red wine.
Yeah,
It's like blood.
Well, we talk about that red Russian, W-H-I-N-E, the red in you is whining again. Okay, so anyway, this is going to happen. I've been telling you about this for decades, and the next thing will be they won't even give the child to the parents. They will be cloning them and doing whatever, and we will not have a family. So therefore, back to your killing of the family.
No child support,
and
no,
the wolf
no
frequency.
divorce. I think it's a good thing.
That's not a good thing. Okay, now then talking about off-Earth, they had two interesting stories. The first one was kind of interesting because they're talking about NASA's Kepler spacecraft discovering a tilted solar system.
Ooh.
And the idea again is we have
Who tilted it?
Well, that's it. We have an idea, standard of what a solar system is. They're bringing it into the public awareness that it's not always standard. Okay, so we have a tilted solar system.
Maybe God was drunk when he made that.
Then they talked about 5 years ago that astronomers were shocked to find planets orbiting at steep angles to their stars' equators.
Ooh.
And that some planets even went around their sun backwards.
Okay, these are drunk planets.
They're drunk planets. They orbit in the opposite direction to the star's rotation, but no one has seen a misaligned multiplanetary solar system until now.
Aha.
So again,
They have never looked in my head, have they?
we're looking at things now that are unusual versus the standard that you've been taught. Now, this next one, to me, is the most interesting because there are lakes on Saturn's moon called Titan. The moon, of course, Titan, was spotted by NASA's Cassini probe. Now, what's so interesting is they're saying there are vast liquid lakes at Titan's north pole, and there were dense winter clouds that are retreating because there's a change in seasons, and I guess they're going to the south. That's what they're claiming. And they're saying that the wet northern region could provide clues about the moon's hydrologic cycle and the evolution of its seas. It says that the Titan's equivalent of salt flats, must be something with our tongues today, surrounding its northern lakes, some of which are as big as the Caspian Sea and Lake Superior combined, these lakes. And now here we go, Titan more closely resembles Earth than any other planet or moon in our solar system.
We should move there.
Well, that might be what's in the plan for us, who knows?
Remember that movie, where was it, where the Earth was attacked by aliens and all the Earth people moved to Titan?
Yeah.
What was that one? Oblivion.
Yeah. So, they're again imprinting us, and I just thought that one was very interesting. Then I have a couple that are kind of interesting, but I thought that was the best one because maybe that's where we'll be living, in the next 10, 20 years, who knows? Universal health care. Of course, Obamacare got started, and there's a lot of controversy over that. But we have, of course, Vermont, one of our smaller states, is really thinking about more fully embracing a totally government-funded healthcare model, which is set to launch in 2017. And the research is showing that Vermont is closer to universal health care than any other state right now because...
There's only 10 people living there.
Well, it's a small state, and that's a good place to start it so they can test the population's reaction. It says since 1990 that 96% of Vermont children have coverage, 91% of the overall population does. Now this is the kicker. There's an old man who is an entrepreneur, small business owner, that they got to quote him on, Mr. Kilcourse. He says that healthcare should be similar to education, which is publicly funded. If we did the same thing for education as in healthcare, you'd have the number of people being excluded from public schools.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Well, this is the quote, but when you put it in the whole context...
Maybe he was drinking too.
Maybe it says, the point being that public education is funded... public education...
Maybe you're drinking.
Maybe I am.
How come you didn't share with me?
I think and it wasn't enough after you were in the bottle.
It's true.
Anyway, so because of education is public, everyone has a right to it, so therefore if we fund healthcare, everyone has a right to it. That's his point.
I see.
My point is, if you go to public education, it really is crap, unfortunately.
It is.
You have to go to private education. And also, the elite don't go to public schools. The public education is where the slaves go, and the elite have their educational systems. And the same thing will happen with healthcare. It will become more a division of classes. So you want to watch out for what's going on with this healthcare stuff.
Okay.
Okay, now this relates to something you say a lot about 97% of the human body is called junk DNA by scientists. Now they're getting into exploring the junk DNA, and there's a study in mice which say that faces are determined by junk DNA because it's largely determined by genetic because no two faces are alike.
Mine wasn't made that way though.
Well, it's just interesting because they are referring to the junk DNA and that maybe this is why people's faces are different. So that's just kind of an interesting aside for you to think about. I'm sure we'll be hearing more. Then my last one.
Yeah, this is a good story.
Well, I don't know about good, but it's interesting because we talked about sex box.
It's a Janet story.
It's a Janet story. We talked about sex box going on where people go on a live stage, they have sex in a box that's opaque and then come out.
By the way, I sent away for you for a Christmas present.
Well, anyway, so I said the next step is they're going to have people doing live sex. So here we have Clayton Pettit, a 19-year-old art student at Central St. Martin's College of Arts and Design in London.
That's a big name of a school.
Who's planning to have gay sex in front of a crowd of between 50 and 100 people in London on, guess what day? January 25, which is my birthday.
Maybe he's doing it for you.
Maybe. Anyway, 2014, for a project called Art School Stole My Virginity. So he wants to have live sex. This is all the way to the end with a gay partner, and then they're going to talk about it with the audience. So I told you this was going to be live. Or, it was going to happen after the sex bot thing, and here we are.
They sell tickets to that?
Well, I'm sure they're going to be expensive. But anyway, the point is he wants to explore the idea of virginity. But, of course, all of this leads back to astral ritual kind of stuff. Now, the other thing, I guess, just a side comment, I have been getting, we talked about this, about the last 2 weeks, we've both been getting in our inboxes, all the junk mail you get. There's one that's coming around now that's encouraging married people to have affairs.
Yes.
Because they're saying, they need to keep it a secret, and you need to keep it a secret.
It was featured on CNN.
So now it's every day I must get 6 or 10 of those inviting me to sign up for this anonymous sex site because one married person can have sex with another married person.
Or did you sign up for it? You're not telling me.
Well, I'm not going to tell you if I did because I'm supposed to keep it a secret according to that.
Well, now everybody's going to know.
Well, they won't know. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting, because they're always doing things, they talk about your dead, and they talk about,
Yeah, but also remember yesterday on CNN they had a whole article on polyamory. And
I missed that one.
Yeah, it was like the front page of CNN.
I didn't read it yesterday.
Yeah.
I was gone most of yesterday. I was on the road.
Oh, that's right. So who was sitting next to me?
I think it was one of the dead people that roam around our house.
Somebody was there.
Maybe it was a zombie.
I can't remember.
Anyway, I want to also tell people that you're going to be leaving soon and you're going to be gone over a very important day.
Yes.
Guy Fawkes Day.
Exactly. I
Which is?
actually am the reincarnation of Guy Fawkes.
Okay, we're making this announcement public for the first time. You're the first to hear it. And so what happens on November 5th?
November 5th is I don't know.
I wonder.
What is that? what a surprise! Oh, what a surprise! I didn't expect that.
Yeah, well, so...
That is like, I am so shocked.
Yes, I realize that. And of course, I didn't mention that you quickly put that there before we sat down.
You know that you surprised me with it.
So November 5th is Stewart's birthday.
Yes.
He is...
Because I won't be here.
Won't be here. Well, he'll be on the planet, just not here.
I'll be flying around somewhere.
Somewhere. So he does take all kinds of gifts and congratulatory...
Liquid gifts.
Congratulatory remarks.
Gold gifts.
Yeah. Gold membership gifts. Would be nice. Speaking of gold memberships, I want to let you know that we have now loaded into the gold membership Hyperspace and Oversoul Basics, which is fascinating. Advanced Hyperspace, Oversoul, and Deprogramming Techniques. We are also in the process of posting True World History.
Yes.
We have some of the Montauk Madness Seminar. And for Halloween, we're going to be putting up Exploring the Paranormal so that you have the real truth. And as a special surprise...
Ooh, we're going to splice in pictures of us nude in the video.
I think you have nude on the mind, mister.
What?
I'm going to have to go search your computer and see what you've been doing.
Oh, God, don't do that.
So anyway, if you want to know the truth about the paranormal, $35 a month get you a gold membership and you have access to all these DVDs as well as our fascinating blogs where we converse with you on a regular basis, my personal affirmations, your private news stories.
Sometimes I converse with myself.
All kinds of things. I know, that's why I'm concerned about looking on your computer. So anyway, get your gold membership if you haven't because the DVDs are being posted as fast as we can get them up there. And our January class, Hyperspace Oversoul Extravaganza, we still have some openings left there. Contact Patricia. And we are now opening our 2014 Oversoul Mastermind Group for new memberships. So if you want to be involved with a group of people who are exploring on a very deep level our Hyperspace Oversoul concepts, tools, and techniques, you'll want to join our Oversoul Mastermind Group. So again, contact Patricia.
And anyone who is interested in joining me for the Australian training class, please contact Patricia at customersupport@expansions.com.
Yeah, so that's it for today.
I think that's it for today. I feel like running outside and ripping my clothes off and having somebody take pictures of it.
Well, we have somebody here to take pictures. You go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're done.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe, if you do send me a birthday present, I will send you a personalized, signed, autographed picture of me doing that. Or if you come to Australia, I will hand it to you personally.
You'll be upside down, dear.
Ooh. Well, I guess I think we need to go.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the red in you has whined enough.
Yeah, and I didn't even drink today.
Are you sure? In Australia, it's like...
Yes, like, oh, wow, I'm like way behind schedule.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I have a radio show later. I have to get ready.
And you had one this morning.
I had one this morning, and that was from Australia, actually. And now, what else was I going to tell you? Oh, yes, so I won't be on the podcast for a couple of weeks after this, right? Just you, right? Why are you looking at me like that?
Well, I don't know why you would be on the podcast if you're in Australia.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll do one from there, so there.
You could,
yeah.
but not with me then. Then I wouldn't be on the podcast.
So my point being...
Well, the point being is one of us won't be on the podcast at some point.
Mm-hmm, right. And this is why I drink. So, I'll see you towards the end of November. Have a good...
November?
Whatever, yeah.
A good Guy Fawkes
Enjoy my birthday.
A good Guy Fawkes Day.
Yeah, enjoy my birthday, really. Bye.
See you later.